One of the hardest things to process in modern relationships is not rejection, but emotional disappearance. One day, everything feels normal. Conversations flow, attention is there, connection feels stable. Then slowly, or sometimes suddenly, it feels like she no longer cares. No arguments, no big fight, just emotional distance. Psychology tells us this behaviour is rarely random, impulsive, or heartless. It's usually the result of quiet, emotional decisions made long before behaviour changes. Women often stop caring long before they stop responding. This is one of the most misunderstood patterns in dating. Emotional withdrawal doesn't begin with silence. It begins with observation. When effort starts feeling one-sided, when words stop matching actions, or when emotional needs are repeatedly ignored, the mind begins to detach quietly. By the time behaviour changes, emotional investment has already shifted. One major reason women stop caring is emotional exhaustion. When someone gives patience, understanding, and emotional labour repeatedly without receiving the same in return, the nervous system begins to protect itself. Psychology explains this as emotional self-preservation. Caring deeply requires energy. When that energy feels wasted, the mind slowly pulls back to regain balance. Another powerful reason is loss of emotional safety. Emotional safety isn't about comfort, it's about consistency. When behaviour becomes unpredictable, when reassurance is inconsistent, or when intentions remain unclear, the brain stops trusting the connection. A woman may still be present physically or conversationally, but emotionally she begins disengaging. Caring fades when safety disappears. Women also stop caring when they feel unseen. Being heard is not the same as being understood. When emotions are dismissed, minimized, or repeatedly overlooked, emotional connection weakens. Psychology shows that feeling invisible is one of the fastest ways attraction dissolves, not because of anger, but because of resignation. Another reason caring fades is when effort becomes expected instead of appreciated. When emotional availability turns into obligation, connection loses warmth. Relationships thrive on mutual appreciation, not entitlement. When care is taken for granted, the emotional system shuts down slowly, not dramatically, but decisively. Women are also more likely to stop caring when communication stops evolving. Surface level conversations, repetitive dynamics, and lack of emotional depth create stagnation. Attraction needs growth. Without emotional progression, interest and care begin to decay naturally. This is not boredom, it's emotional starvation. One of the most misunderstood aspects of this process is silence. When a woman stops explaining herself, stops arguing, and stops asking for change, it's often not because she doesn't care, it's because she already tried. Silence is rarely the beginning, it's usually the ending. Another reason women stop caring is when respect erodes. Attraction cannot survive disrespect, whether subtle or obvious. Dismissive behaviour, broken promises, or emotional inconsistency slowly chip away at emotional attachment. Psychology shows that once respect drops below a certain threshold, caring cannot fully recover. It's important to understand that women don't usually stop caring impulsively. They process emotionally first, they reflect, they give chances, they adjust expectations. When care finally disappears, it's often after repeated internal negotiations. What looks sudden from the outside is usually the final step of a long internal process. Women who stop caring often do so quietly. There's no confrontation, no dramatic exit, no long explanation. They emotionally disengage, then physically follow. This quiet withdrawal is often misinterpreted as coldness or indifference, but in reality it reflects emotional maturity. Knowing when to detach is a form of self-respect. Another factor is emotional imbalance. When one person carries the emotional weight of the relationship, caring becomes unsustainable. Relationships require reciprocity. When balance disappears, the mind begins restoring equilibrium by letting go. It's also common for women to stop caring when they realize they are attached to potential rather than reality. Early excitement can mask incompatibility. Once reality becomes clear, emotional investment adjusts. This shift feels abrupt, but it's driven by clarity, not cruelty. The hardest truth is this: caring doesn't disappear because of one mistake. It fades because of patterns. Psychology shows that repeated small disappointments are far more damaging than a single major conflict. Caring erodes quietly, then disappears completely. In the end, women don't stop caring to punish or manipulate. They stop caring to protect themselves. Emotional detachment is not revenge, it's resolution. When the mind decides that emotional investment no longer feels safe or valuable, letting go becomes inevitable. Understanding this psychology changes how you approach relationships. It shifts focus from chasing explanations to observing patterns. Caring cannot be forced, negotiated, or repaired through pressure. It survives on consistency, safety, and mutual effort. When a woman stops caring, the question is rarely what went wrong suddenly. The real question is what was ignored repeatedly, and that awareness makes all the difference.